every athlete, every person, every human being has an opportunity. Some opportunities don't come when you want them. But if you're prepared, good opportunities can happen. Always be ready, because you never know when your number is gonna get called.
I'm not coming back.
EMIY Apparel. Encourage me. I'm young.
Calvin T. Mann, leading Emmy, served over 20,000 youth through speaking, coaching, and mentoring. He has inspired us for years. Welcome to Emmy TV Podcast with your host, Calvin T. Mann, the Encourager.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Put Your Family First podcast here on Emmy TV. And we're glad to be in the building. Today is Monday, 11/27/2023. Conflicts everywhere, from Congo, Israel, all these places. Murder, bodies, bombing. And so today, we understand that there's a contradiction throughout the land. And I think I started that wrong.
I think, yeah.
I think I might have started that a little wrong.
Well, let's say that in the worst of times, we can find the best of times.
In the best of times, we can find the dressed of times.
No, that didn't work either.
In the best of times, we can find the best of times.
Okay, that's a little better. You're getting there.
I'm getting there. In the best of times. Okay, so today, for our viewers, if you call in, you can win a Win As One hoodie. We're giving away our Win As One hoodie, but you have to call in, participate. You got to know what we're talking about and give you 2 cents.
Uh-oh.
And with that being said, welcome to METV. Welcome to METV, Put Your Family First podcast. I am your host, Calvin Mann, and we are here live in the studio, located in a beautiful landscape and building. And our co-host today is always the Queen, Heather Heteru.
Thank you.
Yes. How are you feeling today?
I feel great, actually. I'm coming down from this first wave of holiday cheer. And then, moving into the second one, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation about releasing holiday blues, so that we go into this season or continue the season with a positive mindset, acknowledging, where we are. Like you just pointed out, so many things that are happening in the world, that are happening in our community, that are happening in our families, that we have to be able to find the good in there. We have to be able to create the good in there, and we have to be able to acknowledge that there is a source pulsating through all of us that is ultimately in control. And so we must do our collective part and individual part to be able to set the tone for what's next. We have a choice. Every day when we wake up, we're given the opportunity to make choices. And so we have to be mindful about the choices that we make. And so part of those choices is some of the conversation that we're going to have in terms of releasing the holiday blues.
Okay, so that's what we're doing today?
That is what we're doing, or at least talking about today.
Release your holiday blues.
Releasing. is sometimes it takes a minute to recenter and to kind of reflect, and then be able to show gratitude and appreciation for the things that are. Sometimes not the things that could be, the things that were. And there's a lot that goes along with not just the holiday season, but we're talking about not just Christmas and Kwanzaa, and we're talking about the start of a new year. So for many people, this is the start of a new chapter. It's the start of a new day. It is so very important that people understand, and we're going to do a show on this before the end of the year, but it's important to make sure that we have that conversation about some of the things to look forward to in 2024. And for people who are connected or interested in numerology or the meanings and numbers and the significance of those meanings, we're going to have a little bit of conversation about that, because 2024 is symbolizing the number 8. 8 moving into infinity, 8 moving into generations, not just the present ones, but the ones to follow. And so just kind of framing it from that is going to be a great conversation to have. So I'm excited about talking about that as we move closer into December, before we take our break, our holiday break.
So, continue. I am distracted, but let me say this. As I shared with you earlier today, when you look out, I had a moment this afternoon. I really did. I had a moment. Surprisingly, I've had 3 today. But the second moment was really heavy. I didn't know where it come from. Right? And being sad, it really hit me. Then I, went to thinking about it as I'm driving over to the school. I think it was, family. I've been preaching family all year. And it's different for me. And I think that's what really hit me.
What's different for you?
It has been. I don't know many. I'm sure there are a lot of fathers out there, a lot of men in the same position. But for me, realizing that all my children are not under the same roof, they're grown, they're gone, they're adulting, they're discovering life. Don't really have a lot of traditions because of that. It's the main reason why I call divorce the devil. And then, you see people, they still got their parents. And they get to enjoy their parents. Mine been gone for 30 years. And so I think part of that was, really just getting around, and sometimes I let my guard down so it sneaks in and hit me. It's like a baseball bat. You know what I mean? It sneak in, because as soon as you let your guard down, hey, you all happy, and it creeps in and hits you upside the head, man. What you happy about? You know what I mean? But I will say this on the contrary to all of that. I am truly blessed. I am blessed beyond where I've come from. So I'm blessed.
Yeah, I appreciate people who offer that affirmation, and even the ones that use the words to get there that may not exactly be there, but you try to put those words in the spaces where words, because they're powerful, where words are needed. And so I think that's important, to affirm what we want, not what we don't want. I think that's an important space for us to be in. And I think that is part of how we shift and we kind of kind of like you were talking about. You need something to help pull you back in when you start to feel emotional. You start to feel the weight of and the pressure of, which is why we want to make sure that we have this conversation starting today about releasing the holiday blues, because there's a lot that goes with it. People at this time of year, especially here in Michigan, when the sky is more gray than blue, when the snow makes you slow down and kind of buckle down into your space, where you want to go out less. You want to be in the snow. You don't want to be cold. You don't want to, get into traffic, and you don't want to be delayed. And so all the things that kind of go along with the things that happen during this time of year, I think it's important to prepare for that. And so we're going to start this conversation off in some preparation. Although we're going to talk about releasing the blues, I want to talk about, as we talk about so often, acceptable culture and the impact of acceptable culture on holiday blues, and some of the ways that we can shift that this year. And again, at every given step, you can choose to do, to be, to say something different. And we're going to work through some tools and some steps on how to do that. I do want to talk about some of the top 5 things that happen of the releasing that we need to do during the holiday season. So I'm going to kind of go through that, and I'm going to come back and talk about the acceptable culture. So the 5 things that tend to stress people out during this time is unmet expectations, the stress of logistics and planning, uncomfortable questions and advice, overextending your finances, and the 5th one is the loss of loved ones, so the loss of what you mentioned before, traditions, because of a loss of a loved one. So before we get deeper into that conversation, I want to have this conversation about how our acceptable culture sets the tone to set us up to release holiday blues, as opposed to continue to experience the same holiday blues that we've experienced in previous years. So when we talk about acceptable culture, we talk about the things that typically exist in your home that have become habits, have become the norm, have become less and less against a value, but more and more to behavior that once was not accepted, and now it is a part of the norm in that space. So we have opportunities to, again, make a choice and change those things. Each family unit, each member of that family unit contributes to that acceptable culture. The values that are shared in our homes, that are shared in our expectation of what family is, our experience of what family is, often begin in the home. So it begins with our parents and what the culture that they set up. So they set up their roles for parents and their roles for children. And when you get to a certain age, those roles start to change, and your role in the family starts to change, and what you're allowed to do, begins to expand, and moving you more toward adult decisions and roles where that's appropriate. And so sometimes when we talk about acceptable culture and how that expands outside of the home, that then moves into a community where it becomes either something that is unchallenged, remains unchallenged, or becomes so popular or overpowering or overwhelming in that community that it then becomes the norm.
So when you say, right, and saying those things, because it really means a lot.
It does.
Acceptable culture, right?
It is an important aspect.
We have to take in consideration, like, I know people who have lost a lot around this time. Mm-hmm. A lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And so, I want you to keep going, and not where, I don't have to dive into it. right, the way I really want, because it's, to me, I'm just a little negative right now. So to let you expound, go right ahead. But I just think that as we're going through the process, acceptable culture and those things like that, we might need to do it to a beat or something. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
So I clearly you're struggling through this holiday, releasing the holiday blues.
You know what, baby? It's not that. It really, just to give you an idea, because this is what is on my mind, right? Mm-hmm. And this is our show, and we can do this, right? We do an extreme amount, a lot of work for people.
Indeed.
We take in personalities. We take in drama. We take in parenting, right? We take in people. We deal with rejections. We deal with doubt, right? This is what we're faced.
And you're speaking of us.
Our work, right? Just in our work. Mm-hmm. We're not even nowhere near, our family. Like, we laugh a lot. We spend a lot of time laughing. We wake up laughing, right? This is something that we enjoy. But in our work, the work, the people, right? It can be daunting.
For sure.
Which is different, right? Because one, you and I, we carry a vision. So it's a little heavier, right? But that's just in our work. A lot of people don't know our work. Like, a lot of people, like somebody just told you, I didn't know about encouragement 16 years, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not because of that they had to know. It really comes down to who we work with, why we work with them, and how we're dealing with so many different parenting personalities, the processes, the people, the politics, right? So we deal with a considerable amount. And that is probably my point when I say is tiring. We make being involved, helping, we make it very, very difficult, and for us to really help the demographics that we work in. And so, because we're having the success, we get to enjoy some things, but it's almost like, a lot of times it's like getting undressed to get dressed. Now you putting on it's the firefighter. You putting on the backpack, the equipment, right, just to go in, right, to deal with acceptable culture, or to deal with the dynamics for which are self-inflicted, in my opinion, to our people, our women, our children, our fathers, our community. I was in the process of creating something, and I think that was the other trigger for me today, because I'm in the space of Boys Matter. It is absolutely something that I've had to deal with today. Mm-hmm. Right? More than any day, today is something I had to deal with. So even when I went over to the school to work with the boys at the school, right, it was the same thing. I was trying to be in that space, right, knowing and looking at these kids like, man, I wish I could take them home. Right? I wish I could take them home. And we don't have the space for it, but I'm just saying these are the things that I've been dealing with and thinking about today. So do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Okay, so again, as you are dealing with and releasing the holiday blues, I mean, it's a time where you wonder if what you're doing matters. You're wondering if the sacrifice, if you're wondering if the effort is being shared, acknowledged. Is it moving our community agenda forward? I feel you. I feel you so much on this. And it's important that you continue to express that. It is important to your health that those things that are weighing on your soul get expressed and move out of your body, out of your conscious mind, so that you can then make room to see truth, make room to understand that, one, God works in generations. So a lot of the seeds that we're planting right now in those families, in those children, in marriages, in healing and health and wellness, those are seeds. All seeds are not meant to germinate and to bear fruit at the same time.
But do you think God is tired?
Well, I like to think that God already knows the end from where we are. And so if he is the Alpha and Omega, he is the beginning and the end. So he already knows how it's going to, what the end result is going to be, because it's already been set in motion to be what it is. And so do I think God is tired? I think that we are tiring. I wouldn't put that on God. I put that back on us. We are tiring as humanity, but we've always been striving for the next level, striving for evolution, striving for what are we here for. And everybody doesn't get the message at the same time, in the same generation, in the same way, in the means that you're given in terms of your gifts and abilities. Some people don't even recognize that their gift actually goes out into the world to someone else. They think it's theirs. And so we have a lot of lessons to learn. And it's one of the reasons why we're giving the number of years we're given, so that we begin to learn those lessons. If you think about, just being born into the world, you're born into the world already. You're destined to grow so that you can transition this world.
Yeah, you would hope.
No, it's not a hope. There's no way out. You don't get out alive. You don't exit this world alive. You were not designed to exit alive. You were designed, however, to plant those seeds for the generations to come. And we are so, I think, in terms of our community, our culture, we lost sight somewhere that you're born for a reason, a season, and your lifetime has an expiration date. It's not to, party like it's 1999, but do nothing significant. Right. There is significance in what you do and what you say. And
controversy.
There are things that last. There are things that last a lifetime. There's also things that need to change in a lifetime. And so we have to be a part of that realization and helping people to understand, one, how valuable they are, two, that they have a choice. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can do this, you can do that, you can do another thing. But how does what you do or say or the other thing not only impact you, but someone after you, next to you? It's interesting, and I'm going to give you this really bad example, but I'm going to give it anyway. When you walk into the restroom, there are 2 stalls in the restroom. You walk into the restroom while somebody is coming out. Somebody was in the stall before you, just like somebody's going to be in the stall after you. So what you do in that stall makes a difference. How you leave it makes a difference. And I feel some kind of way.
That stank. You know that, right?
I'm just saying. But it's real. It's real.
Okay, I can roll with your metaphor. I can roll with.
So if I go into the stall and there's paper on the floor, or nobody flushed the toilet, or it's left in a way that I'm the next one in there, I'm going to either choose to use that stall or a different one. But if everybody keeps using a different stall and never picks up, some of the things that are in there, that makes sense to do. Like, you can use some tissue, and I do this all the time. Use tissue, pick it up, and put it in the toilet. Or put the paper towel in the trash. There are people that walk out of the restroom and leave the paper towel behind the door.
So the paper towel is the blues.
It's absolutely.
Okay, I'm in your metaphor.
But I choose not to leave it. It has to stop with me. I have to choose, what am I going to do? And I feel some kind of way about walking by situations that I can change. It doesn't take anything from me. For me, it's annoying for sure, but I will still go and pick it up. I care about the environment that I'm in. So if I leave it, 9 times out of 10, somebody coming behind me is going to leave it there too.
Right.
And then it just gets worse and worse for everybody that comes behind me. We have to remember, God works in generations. So that's a generation of somebody coming behind me that could either have a positive or a negative experience. And I can choose not to let them have a negative one. So it seems so easy. It seems so gross. But somebody's got to do the clean work and the dirty work. Who is it going to be? We are always waiting for somebody else to show up and do what needs to be done. We have to stop that thinking. Things don't change that way. We wait for the politicians to make a choice in the law or why? We don't need somebody to govern us that way. I mean, we do need governance, but it should be that we're governing not just for now, but for the future, and that's where we get stuck. But I'm going to not get stuck in this conversation.
Come on.
I see where you're going. We're still talking about releasing holiday blues. So I'm going to get back to my point. So I do want to stress that that stressful feeling puts us into a crisis mode. And so if we know that things are going to stress us, like the 5 things we just talked about, which I'm going to bring back up. But if we know that those things are going to be stressful for us, then we need to prepare to not go down the path of stress, because stress is connected to a chemical in our body called cortisol. And we want to make sure that we do not continue to put cortisol into our bodies over and over and over again, because it puts your system out of whack. It is the cause of strokes and heart attacks and high blood pressure and suicidal ideation. This level of stress, and it continues to happen over and over again, it can take you out. And it can make you think that you need to take yourself out, more importantly. And that's not the case, because who you are and what you bring to the world matters. Yes. That's why Calvin is always talking about boys matter. It matters. You matter. We matter. And so it's every day you have a choice.
We're actually all matter. But that's for another conversation.
You have a choice. So the first thing we want to do is cut down on the stress and the stressors. So one of the ways that we typically are stressed during this holiday season that brings us blues is unmet expectations. And let me share with you a few of them. And I pulled some of this from Psychology Today in the American Association on Psychology. That cost you to dance, honey?
Yeah, I love information. You know that. Come on.
Okay, so some unmet expectations. Trying to get gifts for your kids or your mate or significant other that they want that is outside of the scope of your budget, outside of the scope of what you can afford, outside of the scope of even reality. and also that is what my friend has or so-and-so has, trying to meet the expectation that somebody else has that now you want to adopt, and your budget doesn't, or your lifestyle doesn't fit it. Another one is being anxious in crowds. So if you don't want to go to places or holiday dinners or holiday parties where there's drinking and smoking, and you're trying to, be in that space, one, set your boundaries. If it's something that you have to do for work, set your boundaries that you'll go and stay for 45 minutes, an hour. And when certain behaviors or certain things happen, then it's time for you to go. Set the boundary. Make sure that whoever is with you, if there is anyone with you, that they understand that when X amount of things start to happen, when X behavior, when people start to drink, when people start to smoke, that's your exit. And so, or when people start to get belligerent, or when people start to get unkind, then that is your time to leave. And leave. Don't make excuses. Don't tarry on. Don't put yourself under that level of pressure. Leave. And make sure that if there's someone riding with you, that's a clear expectation. It is clear that when X thing happened, it is time for us to go. The other thing is when people start to shift and they're no longer being nice, they're no longer being hospitable, and because people can get stressed as well, especially if you're hosting events. That's a lot of pressure to host an event, to make sure everything is right, everything is in place. You want your guests to be happy. When things are no longer on the higher note, that expectation is no longer met. You need to step back. And this is if you're a holiday planner, if you're hosting an event, step back, ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help to intervene if somebody is acting out of order. Ask for help if you're running short on ice and soft drinks. Ask for help, or allow it to, we say, do what it do. If there's no more chips and dip, there's no more chips and dip. As long as supplies last, right? Don't stress over those things. You have to be able to set your own expectations. When this happens, then this happens. So have that contingency plan in your pocket and make sure that other people know that this is your contingency plan, so that they can help you self-correct. They can help you self-check that, okay, now this is where we are. Step back, take a deep breath. Is it still going the way that you want it to go? If not, what can you do to change it? And the things you cannot change, release. Release the holiday blues. The second area that we're going to talk about is the stress of logistics. So this also kind of goes into party planning. It goes into planning trips during the holiday. It goes to driving to different places during the holiday. I remember when we were younger, Black Friday used to be the time. My mother and my sisters, I never was involved in that. It was just way too stressful for me to be out trying to shop during that time and standing in lines and not being able to find parking spaces. That kind of stuff stressed me out. So I don't do it. I don't do it. Now we have options, right? We can mail order. We can order online. There are other options that we have where we don't have to.
Tell them about your hoodie. Not your hoodie, but your Amazon account.
Well, now there's more than Amazon that's in competition. It's Etsy, it's Oriental Trading, it's this new Temu. I think that's how you say it. It's some other online opportunities now, and that give you some really good prices. So
you hear how she turned up in 2 minutes?
Yeah. Well, don't drop names on me. Yes. So what helps me not have to go into that kind of environment that I know is stressful is online shopping. I love that opportunity to decompress from my phone or from my computer. I don't have to think about standing in line. They don't make you wait. Okay. It's a press and click. Right. And so if that's an alternative for you, that might be an alternative for you. to avoid the crowds altogether. I mean, I don't want to get into the political aspects of, the self-serve lines and I don't want to get too far into that, but logistics of trying to make everyone happy. That's another logistical issue. Okay, so say you're faced with doing multiple events. So you're supposed to go to your mom's house. You're supposed to go to Aunt Louise's house. You're supposed to go visit Grandpa in the nursing home. You're supposed to go to your kids' play. You're supposed to go to church. All of these different levels of commitment need to be really planned in a way that is not stressful to you and your family. Instead of doing everything on one day, consider what you can do over a series of days. So Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas and you make that the 25th, extend it over into Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa has a good 7 days. You can have 7 days of celebrations. There's other ways that you can do it without cramming everything into one day. That's an important piece of the logistics. And if you're talking about traveling out of town, you're talking about flights or you're talking about drives, being able to have things, being able to navigate certain things. There are now quiet spaces in the airport if you need to have a moment. There are now quiet spaces in the train station if you need it. There are quiet spaces in more and more places so that you don't have to be stressed. And you don't have to smoke if you don't want to smoke. You can step outside and sit in that seating area or designated area. That's another opportunity. You can pull over. If you have a long drive, then build in places where you can pull over and have some hot chocolate together, or, use the rest stops. Use the tools that are there. Don't just try to plow all the way through. I just got to get there. You're getting there may stress everybody that's in the car with you out. Consider, as you're driving, other tools. So not just music or holiday music, maybe an audio book. Maybe a positive message. Maybe some affirmations.
Maybe some laughter. Maybe a few jokes about the pair of pants you got in the car with. Maybe it's about the oatmeal that you spilled on your blouse. You know what I mean? Maybe
stories.
Right.
And there are lots of travel games now that you have access to, either on your phone.
Okay.
There are things that you can do. So
I'm feeling better suddenly.
Consider there are other ways to navigate the logistics of the holiday. And then also consider the excessive driving that you might be doing. And the time of day that you might also have to drive. If there are ways that you can delay getting in the midst of heavy traffic, consider that. If you can arrive earlier, consider that as an option. If you can go in late, consider that as an option. If it's consider getting help. Ask somebody to pick up the order for you, or ask somebody to pick up your child for you. And somebody who likes to be out and about during that time. There are other options. And consider that there are also transportation services that will pick your child up from school. There's a little bit more investment in it, but is it worth your peace of mind to be able to have somebody who is a transportation specialist pick up your child for you at least once or twice a week, especially during the holiday? Something to think about.
You had somebody in the chat, Laney Good Game, said, hey.
Nice. Thank you. Hey there to you. All right. And so 3, this is one that happens a lot, but I don't think we put a lot of intention into correcting and making sure that this does not become a holiday blue. So, uncomfortable questions and unwanted advice. So, and sometimes this happens among people. Everybody has people in their family that are know-it-alls. They have all the right answers. They know just what you need to fix your problem, and you never ask for help. You never ask for advice. You never ask for advice on your marriage or your divorce. or they have lots of questions about it. So, I never liked him for you anyway. I heard this during my divorces. We never liked him for you, right? And a matter of fact, did you know so-and-so said this inappropriate thing? Wow. Yeah, I've had that in my journey.
Get that when you in a split up or a breakup.
Yeah,
because
but
people
you
like
don't
want to
hear that. But you don't, it's...
I'm going to pour it on.
You don't really want to hear that.
This is what I really felt about the person.
Right. You don't want to hear that.
So you really felt this way about this person this whole time?
Right.
Like you really is a hater.
And there were all these flags. I'm surprised you didn't see it. Did you know this? And, I knew. Everybody knew but you. I mean, we're not asking you for these things. We don't need your advice on that thing. I don't need your advice. And please don't give me your advice. So we have to be mindful that sometimes we are the person that is giving advice. Carry
me, baby. Carry me today. You got it. I surrender. Carry me. Carry me.
So that's important. That's important to manage the unsolicited advice. Ways to quiet people down, just say thank you and walk away. Thank you. You don't have to debate them. You don't have to argue. You can choose. And you're just saying thank you to be polite. That's fine too. Be polite. Instead of going off and saying, well, I didn't say anything when you went through, because sometimes it's real easy to pick apart the person that's doing the picking, right? So Be mindful. Be mindful that you can say thank you and walk away. You can be polite and walk away. Thank you normally quiets people faster than a back and forth because it gives them nowhere to go. It gives them nowhere to go. You say thank you, they're like, thank you. Okay.
Well, let's give them some good news. Some good news.
Good news. I'm not done with my list though.
You're on the time, baby.
Okay, I got two more. These are really important ones too.
Okay.
The fourth one is overextending in our finances, making choices for gifts and maximizing our credit cards. Our desire to give excessive or expensive gifts, and that's not in our budget to do. Woo. Choosing between gifts and paying bills, that's not in our wheelhouse to do. And then trying to keep up with others. That is a very precarious situation to put yourself in, to put your family in. Yeah, and there are a lot of people who want to do, I would love to get my husband season tickets to the Lions game so he could go and,
I can't go. I'll be mentoring.
You said good news. You said good news. Which mentoring is good news. Or
you hear that, Monique? I can't go. I'll be mentoring.
Or how about bringing the players to my husband so he can have a chance to interact and engage on a more personal level?
How about some boots? Some more cowboy boots.
As I said, expensive, excessive gifts. No, honey, you're worth a pair of cowboy boots. Don't get me started on where you're gonna go with them boots, though. Also, being creative with your gifts. So here's some good things that we can do in terms of gift giving.
All right.
Be creative. There's nothing like seeing a photo album of memories. I know we can keep all those things in our cell phones, but at some point, the pictures in your cell phone start to take up a lot of space. I know I keep paying for more space, and those pictures, those memories, gosh, they're really important. And so the things I want to keep or I want to highlight, I like to do videos. So turn the pictures into a video as a gift. I do that often for my family and friends. They're just specifically for them in their moments. I think that's a really awesome gift to give, to show that you have really been part of their moments, important moments in that year or in their lifetime. That's a really important gift. Sometimes the gift, if you make an incredible dish that somebody loves, make them that dish for Christmas with a bow. I like a Dutch apple pie for Christmas. That's been on my wish list forever. I like white hot chocolate. I'm trying to give some people some hints out there. On my wish list is white hot chocolate. I love white hot chocolate. So some of the things that that are a different type of gift. I love teas. So for somebody to give me one of my favorites is vanilla chai. Another one is peach.
So
and the
you're
other one
taking
is
this time
raspberry
to
zinger.
pitch gifts.
No, I'm talking about how to be creative with your gift giving.
On the podcast,
It doesn't have to be
everything ended with what I like. I
do.
white chocolate. I like pies.
I do.
Cakes and candies.
I didn't say
Right.
candy.
White chocolate is candy.
I said a white hot chocolate. White chocolate, hot chocolate. It's not a candy.
I thought you was leaning to the white chocolate candy bar.
No, but I'm not a, I don't
Okay,
object
what's
to
some
it.
other gifts that is
other
not
gifts.
your favorites?
Other gifts are plants. Give somebody a fruit-bearing plant.
And talk to your plants.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brush your teeth
Something
before you
that
talk
you
to
can
your plants,
use, because I found out that blueberries are a great way to decrease symptoms of diabetes. Blueberries,
strawberries.
yeah. Well, I don't know about strawberries. I heard about blueberries. So
Yes.
so give somebody something that is meaningful. How about a basket of those seeds?
How about a pair of brand new drawers? And for the ladies, a matching set.
Okay, Calvin. I'm trying very hard to hold myself closer. I'm this close to going head to head with you, because I can't. I can go with you. So I am my father's child.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. And them Navy men. Anyway, so kind of shifting to this last one that is really important to keep an eye on our family, friends, and loved ones when there have been losses in your family and your circle. What that holiday season is like without that loved one is a very important place that we have to begin to navigate. And some of the things I want to share with you that you can do if you've experienced those losses, so that you don't drown in the sorrow and the sadness of their presence,
right,
and not being there. So a couple of things I'm going to suggest to you. So first, when you're experiencing a holiday without a loved one, hold the space for them. And so often in our family, we hold a space for them. So it may be a seat that they sat in. Maybe it's a seat on a plate at the table. Maybe it's a plate of food that is set aside. We normally do that for our ancestors. We set a plate aside. As to honor them, acknowledge them in their presence, that even though their body physically is not there, the spirit of that person is still there, and you still acknowledge that. And understand that it's okay to miss somebody. There's no penalty for you for missing somebody, and there's no penalty against you for experiencing joy even though they're not there.
Go pick your friends up.
For sure. Go check on those friends, especially if you know that they're
friends, family. Pick them up. Don't
let people isolate. Do not let your family, friends, and loved ones isolate in that sorrow and that sadness. I like the idea of going to pick them up. And sometimes they're going to say, no, I'm okay.
Be at the door. Don't even be at their door.
Right.
Because it's just one, like you said, it's one of those things. I remember when my friends came and got me. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, you've been in this house for almost a year and have not come out. You going out tonight? Mm. Yep. They came, knocked on the door, and came and got me.
Yeah. Those phone calls also help. Listen for the cues in a person's voice. Also, that's important. On the upside, try something new. Do something new. Start new traditions. That's always a good way to honor somebody, honor a moment, honor a holiday season. Try a new tradition. Or try something new. So it could be, some of the things that we've done, at least me and my son have done over time, is we made gingerbread houses, we made cupcakes for everybody, we made various types of cookies and decorated them and put them in tins. You can go to the Dollar Tree and get those tins, or the little cute boxes that look like houses. You can put sweets in there too. Yeah, it's typically sweets though. Yeah. But do something new. Give to strangers, give to homeless, give to people in shelters. Giving is always a gift that goes forever. It never ends. That cycle of giving never ends.
Here's one you can do that's really important, that you can really do. It is fun. Snow angels.
I would love to see that this year, Calvin, man.
Go out and make snow angels.
A little round head and.
Well, snow angels is something that, it's another way of taking a break from the monotony.
For sure. Or dance in the snow. See how many snowflakes you can catch on your nose.
Dance in the snow.
Here are a few other things that I know we're winding down. So consider doing a memorial for that loved one or for that family. Do the memorial for the living as opposed to those who have made their transition. Acknowledge them and do a family memorial. That's also helpful. What might that look like? It could be a decorated Christmas tree that somebody provides. It could be a plaque. It could be a plaque with the person or the family's name on it. It could be some other type of acknowledgement, a carving in the wood, a piece of art. Any kind of memorial tribute like that is very thoughtful. Create a place of importance. So maybe it's in your yard, and in your yard you have there are lots of memorial plaques and frames and things that you can plant in the ground or stake in the ground that says that this is, that you're acknowledging that person's passing. I know there are a lot of cardinals and mourning doves are also, a sign for someone who's passed. Also butterflies. So maybe those are the ways that you acknowledge that person, just in a particular corner on your mantelpiece. It could be somewhere very special to you that others can see it and also acknowledge. It could be inside or outside, so don't limit how you do it or where you do it. And then you can do something in somebody's honor. So we could dedicate a podcast to our loved ones or our friends. We could... there's lots of opportunities. Etsy is full of opportunities and ideas. Pinterest, full of opportunities and ideas. So there's an unlimited supply of how you can do it. The idea is that you do something or do something different this holiday season to help you and help others to release that holiday blues.
And that is the show.
Is it?
Heather, tell people where they can reach you at.
We're out of time. Man, I had some more things to add.
Andrew, where they can reach you.
Okay. You can reach me at inspiredjourney.com, or you can reach me by phone, and I have 5 more things to add. So if you give me a call, I'll tell you what those things are. That's 313-759-7855. Again, that's 313-759-7855. Thank you.
Okay. So you can reach me at calvintman.com. Remember, do something. Get out, exercise, walk, talk, go visit an old friend, play with your pets, right? Do something refreshing. Cut all the negative people off your phone. Negative people do not get your ear. This is the best time to just let them go. It's Christmas. They ain't gonna be calling. Get them people out your ear and out your phone. Other than that, enjoy. Enjoy.
I think you want us to enjoy.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
That's it. This is METV. Put your family first. We're signing off. Hey, and remember this. Whatever you do, be true to yourself. Peace.